Good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? So, we got a new channel, right? This first actual live broadcast that I'm doing on this new channel. And I appreciate everybody making the hop, making the change. I know it's kind of a bit of an abrupt switch, but one of the things that I was running into was on my regular programmingmadeeasy.com channel, I was actually getting a lot of people that were unsubscribing because they were getting these notifications, I think. I wasn't really getting told exactly why. I just, see the numbers and people are unsubscribing at like 7, 6, unsubscribers for every video I was doing, every live broadcast I was doing. So I thought, that may be a problem. So rather than continuing to lose numbers over there, I thought I'd just open up this new channel and see if I can get some people to come on over. So I appreciate everybody who has come over. I really want to thank you. Just trying to adjust it's a little janky over here. So thank you so much for joining me again. Happy Monday, April 29th. Yes, Monday. We get the start of our work week. That's always fun, right? And today I've got an interesting topic I wanted to talk to you guys about. I think this is one. I've had a pretty successful career, and I advance, pretty much in every job that I've done. I've had some advance. I typically get into some sort of management position. I've ran my own business a couple of times just to try to, make ends meet. Actually, doing a couple things in construction, and of course, Programming Made Easy is my own baby, and I have that fully registered and everything. So I thought I'd kind of give you guys some advice on how to do all of that. So everybody ready to see the new exciting intro that I created for this channel? Well, here we go. How was that? You guys like that? Cool little intro. I like that. A couple of different intro makers that I found. I thought I'd give that one a try. So, we're going to talk today about what you can do to advance your job, right? How can you advance your career? Maybe it's your current job and you're looking to get a better raise, or get a better position, or maybe you're looking to upgrade your current job to somewhere else. Maybe you're looking to go find work at another place, and you're kind of trying to figure out how do I keep making more money, right? Or how do I find happiness in the job that I'm going to have or currently have, maybe. Now, first of all, I just want to put a little disclaimer on here. I am fully satisfied with my current job. I find it funny that I'm talking about how you might want to move on to another career, move on to another job, and I gotta say, I'm like really, really happy with my job at Wazoo. And I do this live broadcast every day at 7:30. Well, I should say every weekday at 7:30 before I get started at Wazoo. And I kind of wanted to do this because I got here through a process. I got here to my job through a process. And I thought I'd kind of share some of the things that I found valuable in order to get me to where I am now. So before I get into that, I just wanted to again remind everybody, you can still be a member over at programmingmadeeasy.com. You just click on the join button. We don't have the ability to turn that on this channel yet because I don't have enough subscribers. But once we do, I'll probably go ahead and add that as well so that you guys can join here, and that obviously would make it easier. But if you do want to still join, you can still go to programmingmadeeasy.com and join. And I want to thank everybody who does. I don't see the little symbols or indications about who has joined on this side because it is the new channel, so everything's still a little bit different. But I do appreciate everybody who is a member and decided to join. I appreciate everybody who is willing to fork over a little cash every month in order to support this channel. And I just want to thank you guys. Also, if you have any suggestions for topics that you'd like me to talk about later, all you have to do is just drop that in the comment section below. Also, I just kind of want to point out, I've been trying to do this for a couple weeks now, doing the live chat Coffee with Steve, and I hope I'm getting better and better at it. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with things. So I appreciate, again, everybody who's stuck with me through this process. And, I don't have some sort of background in broadcasting. I don't have any sort of experience doing live broadcasts or how to come up with stuff, but just doing what I can and figuring it out as we go. All right. Don't forget to drink your coffee, and then we're going to get into the topic here. I make good coffee. I make really good coffee. Okay. So, the first thing that I want to talk about when it comes to how you're going to advance your career is the number one thing from your company's perspective, the people that are going to hire you, is how are you going to create value for the company? Okay, that should be the number one thought. How do I create value? So I call it the ACV principle. Always create value. Okay, if you are in any way detracting from the value of the company, you're not going to advance, right? If you are a burden to the company, if you are consuming more resources than you're providing value for, look, there's a trade-off, right? There needs to be a trade-off. You have to assess the amount of money that they're paying me. Am I really actually living up to that value and exceeding it? Okay, because it's really easy to get, here's my job, I'm going to just do my job, and I'm going to get paid for that. You can't advance if you don't prove that you have more value than what you're actually getting paid for. Okay, you have to continuously show that you are on a track higher than where they currently have you placed. That's the bottom line. You've got to be creating that extra little bit of value that they're saying that, when they start to think about who they're going to tag for certain projects or who they're going to talk to get answers to certain things. You have to be forefront in their mind about your ability to add value to any situation. All right? Second thing, don't take credit for things you don't do. Okay? I almost avoid the credit altogether. I try to. Sometimes I admit, like, there's this deep need that we have to say, like, my name is attached to that. I did that. And you again, so you're creating value, but you're not necessarily forcing your face onto everything that happens within the company, right? Whenever something good happens, even if you're a big part of it, it's really tempting to just say, like, yeah, I helped with that. I did that. I created that. And you've got to kind of walk that back. You got to let your coworkers be the ones that kind of advocate on your behalf, which leads me to point number 2, or number 3, actually. Boy, I can't count. Advocate for your coworkers, because if you advocate for them, they'll advocate for you, right? They'll like you. They'll think you're on their side, and that's what it should be. You should be on their side because you want them on your side, and that helps to develop that camaraderie between you guys. That helps to develop that kinship amongst you. Is if you are promoting them and what they have done, then they don't need to try to take credit for it, right? And then same goes the other way. They start to, where you have excelled, they will start to push you. Now, obviously, there are going to be people that take advantage of that situation. There are people that are going to are going to say, I did this, I did this, I did this, and Steve, that guy, he's a dirty louse, he didn't do anything. And you'll be sitting there going, oh, I did all of it. I did almost everything. And you're gonna be so tempted to be like, it was me, it was me, it was me. But here's the thing. Those people come and go. Okay, those kind of people who are attention seekers will come and go. And it's really difficult to kind of live under them for the period of time that they might have some influence over your position and status. But they eventually will be gone for a myriad of reasons. Typically, it's because of incompetence, right? They try to take advantage. They say that they did something that you did, so they may get elevated, but then when they actually get put in the spotlight, it's going to be discovered how little they actually did. And when the company goes back and says, well, how in the world how did this person get to this point? And they're going to realize through that whole process it was you. And then they're going to start feeling bad about it, right? Because, hey, why didn't we recognize this person that actually did the work? It doesn't always happen that way. I totally understand that. I fully admit it. This is kind of pie in the sky in some cases. But you know what? If a company doesn't respect you for the work that you do and doesn't recognize the work that you do, then maybe that's not the place for you, right? All right. So never talk poorly of others, okay? So you want to advocate for your coworkers, and you never talk poorly about them. And that includes your boss, either your direct boss or your boss's boss or your boss's boss's boss or the CEO or the manager or the owner. Like, don't talk bad about anybody, because you may think that you're talking in a private conversation with one of your fellow coworkers or one of your friends or somebody below you, and you're going to badmouth them a little bit, and it's going to feel a little cathartic. It's going to feel like, yeah, I finally got it out. It feels good to actually express how I feel about things. But the bottom line is, what's going to happen is you're going to start to develop a reputation as somebody who will complain about others behind their backs, because that's what you're doing. You're complaining about others behind their backs. And they're going to start to kind of just know you for that. And they're not going to want to advance you. They're not going to want to advocate for you on your behalf. They're going to become very selfish about their exploits, right? And they're not going to want to advance you at all, because they know you're just going to talk bad about people. And so it's really important. Never talk bad about others, even about your boss. And there is the sandwich rule, that if you have some bad news to deliver, and if you have something that you have negative about somebody, it's okay to share that. You just have to be careful about how you do it, right? So we have this thing called this sandwich technique, which is you between two pieces of good news, break the bad news, right? So you say something nice about somebody, then you say this little thing, this little criticism about them, but then you bookend it again with something really nice. Like, you do a terrific job. I really appreciate everything that you do. But, there's some times where you're a little bit tardy on things, and it would be really great if you could like make sure you're on time with some of these deliveries. But we really, really do appreciate the work that you do. I mean, you do a fantastic job, right? So that's the delivery of bad news and trying to influence them, but you're bookending it with some good stuff, right? You're kind of smashing it between a couple of good things. That's a technique that's been around for a very, very long time. And you got to make sure that your criticisms aren't really, really like devastating, right? So yeah, like, dude, your handwriting is the worst. That would be, my handwriting is the worst. I'd probably just laugh at you. Okay. The best time to look for work is when you have a job. Now, this one may seem a little underhanded, right? That the best time for you to go looking for work is while you have a job. And I'm typically pretty open about this with my boss. I'll be like, just to let you know, I'm out there searching. It's not always a good idea to do that, but it's kind of a personal choice. But typically when I'm looking, I'll say, look, I'm not looking to replace, I'm not looking for to leave here, but I'm looking at what's out there. What are the skills that I need? And because if I know the skills that are needed out there in the real world, then these are the type of skills that I know I can come back here and tell you guys about. Like, this is where the industry is going. And I provide feedback. And I did this in a couple of different scenarios with my boss. I was like, hey, I'm not looking to change my jobs. I'm just looking at what's out there. I'm looking at what's available, because then I can collect those skills. I can collect information about what's desired, what's needed, and that can, in some ways, actually propel the company, help them understand like what are some of the things that the industry as a whole is doing that maybe the company is not doing. Okay, so sometimes I pass that information on, but that's a total personal decision. All right, I'm not saying that you always want to be doing that. It depends upon the relationship that you have, and just, you got to broach that one very, very carefully if you're going to do it. But for the most part, it's just a good idea. If you're going to be looking, you should be looking for work while you have a job. And the number one reason why that is so important to do is because it means you're not in a hurry to take the first thing that comes along. Okay, once you make the decision to go to work for somebody, you're there, right? You've jumped into that. Some people can back out of that. Some people, will jump in, and then 2 weeks later they're gone. But then you just start to develop a flaky reputation, if there is a reputation in your industry. If people talk in your industry, then people start to just think you're flaky. So it's a good idea to be looking for work, looking for your next job while you have your current one, because you don't want to be in a situation where you just financially you have to make that decision to go into something else, to go work for in a position you may not actually want, or for the company you don't necessarily want to work for, and only because it at least pays the bills. Like, that's the worst scenario that you can possibly be under, because then you don't get to dictate what kind of job you have. And that's really, really a bad position to be in. So, okay. Also, again, you get to find out what the skills are that you need in order to continue to gain in the industry, right? If you're looking at the different jobs opportunities, all the different job opportunities, maybe even do a couple of interviews, you start to learn what the skills are that are required out there. And you know what it is that you need to go learn. Or perhaps some of the interview questions, if you do an interview, you start to get challenged in some of those circumstances. You start, okay, I need to go back and research that particular topic. So it's good in both. By looking for a job while you currently have one means you're never in a position where you have to take a job. Okay, you're never in that position. And the second thing is you start to learn what the skills are that are necessary in order to advance your career and move on to that next step. Okay, so then there's also getting certificates, which is a really, really valuable thing. If you're going to have a skill on your resume, you either need to have work experience or you need a certificate or some sort of education to back it up, right? So it's good to collect certificates, even if it's just an online course that you took. Get the certificate. If they offer a certificate, get it. Keep it. You don't realize how valuable those things are until you need them. When your boss or somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, do you have a certificate that proves that you know XYZ?" Or if you do it on a resume, you can show all the certificates that you've earned. Okay, complain less. Complain less. In today's world, I am finding, and I fall into this habit too. It's so easy to complain. It's so easy. You constantly run into these problems throughout your day, right? And you're like, oh man, this is just so frustrating. I hate having to do this. And the more that you complain, the less people really want to be around you. And again, that goes back to your coworkers advocating for you. If you're nothing but a complainer, you're not really adding value. You're detracting from it because you're detracting from the morale of the overall morale of the company. And that is part of the value that you offer is, are you enthusiastic about what's going on with the company? And sometimes, yeah, you have to fake it. Sometimes you have to fake that enthusiasm. Yeah, all right. I'm so glad we're increasing our rates by $20. It's fantastic. Like, woohoo, we're all going to be swimming in it. You don't necessarily like it, right? Like, man, we're bashing our customers. Like, how are we going to continue to increase our customers if we're charging more money? That's kind of the complaining part. And if you do that openly with others, that's not your personal confidant, like your wife or husband or your psychotherapist or whoever, you've got to make sure that you're not complaining to people within the company. And you have to be excited about just about everything that comes along. Now, it's okay, to deliver bad news, right? You could say like, boy, I don't know that that's necessarily the best of ideas, but I do see where you're going. I do see and I understand, and I think it's a great direction you're trying to go. Okay, it's again sandwich technique, right? Boy, that's a really well thought out idea, but I do have some problems with it. I don't think that what's our customer response going to be like? Have we had any sort of testing groups that we've done this on? I'm just kind of curious, but I really do appreciate that we're trying to increase funds, and I think this is a great way to do it. Okay, like you sandwiching that bad news, because then you don't sound like a complainer. You sound like somebody who is enthusiastic about the idea, but you're raising a few concerns. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to mention here about how you can advance your career and just be a better employee, really, is kind of what we're talking about, is if you do spot a problem, then you need to make sure that you have a solution for it. Okay, so if you see some sort of issue and you're like, boy, this really is going to be a problem. This is going to cause distress within the company. You need to have some sort of solution in place. Now, I'm talking about like even if it's just a thought or an idea that hasn't been fully fleshed out. You don't have to have like, here's my 20-point plan of how we're going to solve this. That's not necessary. All you need to do is say, I think I know how to solve. So here's the problem. I have an idea on how we can solve it. And I just kind of wanted to back and forth it with you. Like, here's what I'm seeing. This is kind of what I think we might be able to do to mitigate that. I'm interested in hearing your feedback about it. Okay. So if you don't have that solution, to accompany the problem, then again, you're just going back to complaining. That's all you're doing. You're just complaining. So anytime that you have some sort of issue that you want to bring up to your boss or your coworkers or whatever, make sure that you're not just being a complainer. You need to sandwich the bad news with the good news, and you need to come up with some sort of idea of some sort of solution. It doesn't have to be fully fleshed out. You don't need a full plan of action or anything like that. Just kind of like, I was thinking maybe we can solve it this way. That's really, really important to do. And you're going to become the answer person, right? You're going to become the person that everybody comes to solve the problems because you come up with good ideas. You are an advocate for others. You are an advocate for all the good work that other people do. You don't take any selfish credit. You're not a selfish person. And because of that, people are going to look to you as a leader. And once you start getting that reputation amongst all of your fellow coworkers and your bosses that you are a leader, they're going to start to look to you to provide some of those answers more. And then, gosh, I have this problem of, ugh. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, if you can continuously provide value to the company, if you don't talk bad about others, you're always quick to find solutions to the problems that you spot, and you're always seeking out what are the skills that are necessary in order to advance not only your career in another company, but your career possibly with your current company, then those are the type of things that you're going to start to just stand out to others. And you don't even have to do anything. You don't have to be self-promoting. Other people will promote you for you, right? That's the ideal, because if all you're doing is talking about yourself, that's all you're doing. You're just talking about yourself. And people don't like that. People don't like egotistical people. They want somebody who they know will advocate on their behalf and will do exactly what they say they do, right? Being that dependable, honest person that can deliver bad news, but does it in a way that everybody can get around and be a part of the solution. That's really what you should thrive to be, is to be that person always creating value and always being that standby person that everybody knows they can come to for whatever's going on. All right, let's see if we got any questions here. Mustafa says, new beginning, nice and simple. Yep. Rufiala says, is it worth doing postgraduate degree? This is always a personal decision, questions like that, because for some people, absolutely, it's monumentally important. You can advance your career greatly by having that degree. All it really does is open more doors. It opens up more opportunities. And with more opportunities, more diversity of opportunities, obviously the better your chance of advancing career. But I don't think it's necessary to advance your career. Okay, it's not a necessity. Unless you're in a particular field, like if you're a doctor, you probably need it if that's what you're planning on doing. But if you're just looking, like, especially in the tech field, that's, of course, my background. If you're just looking to build up skills and not necessarily a degree is good because it's that, big giant certificate that helps to prove that you know those skills. But it's really more about the doors that are going to open for you if you do that. It's got a cost associated with it, right? Like you have to pay quite a bit of money in order to go through a university and get that postgraduate degree. So it's kind of a personal decision. Do you want to open up those more doors and can you financially afford it? If you can financially afford it, it's a good idea. If you can't, and I guess not just financially, but also time-wise. Can you afford it time-wise? Like I just turned 40 recently. I'm looking back at like a postgraduate degree. By the time I get out of college, how old am I going to be? Is the certificate that I have actually going to be worth the advancement in my career? Is the debt that I'm going to incur really a good thing for me to do at this point in my career, in this point in my lifetime? There's other things. I got family. I've got a roof over my head I got to pay for, and I got all these other things that I got to consider. I got my wife, and like, what am I going to do if I'm going to college all the time? So obviously, for a personal decision, it doesn't make much sense for me to do it, right? Even though it might advance my career, even though it might be a good career decision. But for you, if you have the time and you have the money and you have the desire to go through university, by all means, go do it. Get that certificate. Get that piece of paper that certifies that you know exactly what it is that you're talking about. And that will open up more doors. That really is just about getting into the interview. All that does is get you into the interview. That's really all that. I mean, it can also help you with some things like networking, right? You can discover fellow alumni from that college, and you can start to develop some networks there. That's kind of an opportunity. That's how a lot of the like the Ivy League stuff, right? Harvard, or or Harvard or Yale, that's what's the other one I was trying to think of. Those guys, like, they're rubbing elbows with each other. They're kind of in this little bubble. And it gives the impression that if you go to one of those places, you'll get to know the right kind of people and you'll become a very wealthy individual. And that happens for a lot of them that do that, but it's not all of them. And so I'd say actually the majority of the people who go through those Ivy League colleges don't really come out with those type of networking connections that really turn them into major successes or anything. But for us average fellow folks that don't go to those Ivy League schools and don't necessarily have the ability to go to college, like, there is still plenty of opportunity. It's about what are you going to do to get through into the interview, okay? If you've got that college, if you got that postgraduate degree, it's going to be something that you can put on your resume and will get your resume moved from the do not call back list to the go ahead and schedule an interview list, right? There's more of that for you. And then of course there's just the requirements, right? If you look at the job postings, there's going to be a requirement for a lot of them that says like one of the requirements is that you have a postgraduate degree in computer science or, I don't know, liberal arts or whatever it is that the job is that you're going for. They might have some sort of requirement. Again, that's just to get you to the interview. That doesn't mean you're going to be successful in your career. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to advance your career. It just means there's more opportunities, more of those interviews that you're eligible for. Okay, so that's basically what I've got for that topic. If you guys have any other things that you'd like me to discuss in the future, I would certainly appreciate you dropping a comment in the comment section below. I always love hearing your guys' suggestions about things you want me to talk about. This channel, just to be very clear about this channel is totally separate from Programming Made Easy. I know I've got a bunch of videos that I'm posting up, and I'm doing this kind of slow rollout of getting those videos on here. I didn't want to just inundate everybody's notifications right away, like, oh, Steve just uploaded 50 videos. That wouldn't be very, very nice to your notifications bar. So I decided I'm just going to kind of release the old videos slowly. They do obviously still have a lot of the Programming Made Easy, introductions and logos and stuff like that. But this channel is different. This channel is intended for me to be just talking about things. And I really want to talk about everything, not just technology, not just software, not just programming made easy stuff, not just C# or Access. This is about an opportunity for me to open up a dialogue with you guys about all sorts of things that concern me or things that excite me. Like I went and saw Avengers over the weekend. I went and saw the movie. I'm not going to give any spoilers about it. I also am an avid Game of Thrones fan, so we watched that last night. Awesome episode. Finally paid off. And yeah, like these are just even some of the pop culture stuff, the politics. I don't mind getting into. I'll talk about religion too. I mean, that's like I'll talk about all those taboo subjects because I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our society today is that we're not willing to discuss the hard things. We're not willing to talk about the things that some people find irritating. And it may not be great for my channel. It may, I may say something on the channel that you guys are like, well, boy, Steve said that and I can't like him anymore. That's fine. I still think that we need to have the dialogue. We need to have a discussion. And I am willing to have my mind changed on things. This is one of those things. I think in our society today, there's too many people that are just, this is the right way. I'm going to badmouth everybody who disagrees with me, and it becomes a really bad situation. I want to be the opposite of that. I want to invite a conversation. I have a point of view. I have a way that I want to express things, and I hope that you guys are willing to listen to that. And I hope I'm getting better at it, right? This is a process for me. I am still very, very new to this idea of doing the live broadcasting. But I thought I'd give it a try and see where it goes. Heck, I might even do some gaming stuff. I don't know. I like PUBG and Fortnite. Well, not so much Fortnite. It's a little bit cartoonish for me, but I love like the PUBG. Apex Legends is okay. I don't really play much. I watch more than I play. But hey, like there's a diversity of topics we could all be discussing. And I thought this channel would be the opportunity for me to just explore all sorts of different topics, talk about it with you guys, have some sort of platform to just kind of converse and go back and forth with everybody. So thank you so much for joining me on this channel and being a part of this kind of new venture and a new direction for me. So thank you so much, everybody. Again, you guys are wonderful. I couldn't do this without you. I really appreciate it. And stop by sometime. I know not everybody is here, but we're trying to grow the channel and make it something awesome. So thanks for joining, guys. I will go ahead and end the stream here, but thank you. Okay. Have a great day, guys.